Hi, I'm Jonah Comstock, editor-in-chief at pharmaphorum. I'm here at Reuters Pharma USA in Philadelphia, and I'm joined by Vicky Brown, head of U.S. oncology and emerging areas at Boehringer Ingelheim. Thanks so much for joining me, Vicky.
Welcome. Thank you.
So, oncology and emerging areas. Let's take those one at a time because I'm very interested in the emerging areas. But I know there's a lot of exciting stuff happening right now with Boehringer in oncology. What are kind of some of the big recent headlines or things you're excited about coming up?
Yeah, so I think most recently we just had our approval in the frontline setting for HER2 mutated advanced non-small cell lung cancer with Hernexeos. So very first targeted therapy to be approved for patients who haven't received previous therapies. So I think incredibly exciting, not only for the oncology community, but shows the importance of bringing targeted therapies, precision medicine to those early on to get the benefits. That's hot off the heels, obviously, of our approval in August of last year in the previously treated setting. So we look forward to many new indications and expansions with Hernexeos. And then we also have a Brixtamig, our T cell engager, that's hot on the heels as well, also looking to develop that in EP-neg and small cell lung cancer.
So now that you have the approval, what happens next? How is the sort of the launch going and the rollout of the indications and things?
So for Hernexeus, I think we always view the approval as the starting line. It's never the finish line. So now I think what's most important, especially given this is the first targeted oral therapy for non-small cell lung cancer with a HER2 mutant in the front line, is really about ensuring that we increase awareness and understanding of the importance of biomarker testing. Is that so they have the non-small cell diagnosis, and then we always kind of view the second diagnosis as, do you have the HER2 mutation? And then the importance also for both the prescribers, but as well as patients with that rare tumor type, that they know that there's a targeted therapy available. So know that they should be tested. If they have the mutation, know that a targeted therapy isn't approved and definitely leads to better outcomes for those patients.
And this is an area where for those patients with that tumor type, there haven't been very many options before.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the HER2 mutated population, those that have the mutation in that tumor, this is Hernexus is the first targeted therapy approved for the frontline setting. So for those that haven't had therapies in the past, so this really is a groundbreaking approval not only for the community but for those patients that have a very aggressive and lately diagnosed, like late in the diagnosis uh, that means that having a targeted therapy as quickly as possible definitely leads to better outcomes.
Talk to me about some of the emerging medications you're working on, stuff you have in the pipeline, especially stuff that's maybe a little more innovative. I don't want to say, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So emerging areas really is a umbrella term for a lot of different disease areas that Boehringer is exploring. So it refers to the emerging areas or therapeutic areas where as a company, perhaps we haven't gone into those areas before. So it ranges from retina health. We have a whole pipeline there with very hard to treat or retinal diseases with very few treatment options. So whether that's geographic atrophy, diabetic retinopathy, diabetic macular edema, whole bunch of kind of pipeline in there that are very much in the phase two stage of things. We also have disease areas under inflammation. So whether that's irritable bowel disease and a lot of assets in development there. And then much kind of later out in the pipeline, we're looking at neuroscience, mental health, rare populations, but also very large kind of populations with unmet needs. So what's great is it's a very broad pipeline and with multiple options into very distinct disease areas that have high unmet need.
And are you kind of modality agnostic in those areas, or are there particular sort of technologies you're really investing in that sort of lend themselves?
So I think within each of those disease areas there, it's multimodality. So we're looking at in the retina space, for example, IVT as well as oral therapy. So again, what's great about the pipeline that we have with Boehringer, very much driven by the science. Where are the areas of untapped or greatest unmet need? And then ensuring that we're bringing solutions forward that meet those needs. So each of the different disease areas under the emerging areas have multiple kind of options in development.
And is this all internal innovation that came from you guys, or is some of it acquired shops?
So a mix of, which is great. I think to have things that we're developing ourselves as an organization, but then also very thoughtful in partnerships, whether that's in licensing, whether that's working in development with other organizations, and then bringing products forward. So a nice healthy mix of both.
So Reuters is a show that's more about the marketing and commercialization than say the R&D side.
Mhm.
What are you doing at a show like this? Who are you kind of looking to learn from, looking to teach to, look to talk to about what you're doing?
Yeah, so I think what's great over the 20 plus years I've been in the industry, multiple launches. So whether that's working with bigger biotech, startup, big pharma, I think looking to learn the innovation, I think, especially in the technologies that are coming forward with launches, the landscape's evolving rapidly. So I think what got us there in the past isn't necessarily going to get us where we need to go in the future. So I think always learning from industry peers, what's new, but also, I think making sure that we're creating those partnerships and those networks together, but also passing on those battle scars that we've learned from doing it ourselves to those, that are perhaps not as experienced in launches. I will say with this most recent one with Hernexeos, there's always something new you learn. I think every launch there's something that it's great to be able to pass that on to others so we can, speed up the time from approval to launch, but most importantly, getting it in patients' hands as quickly as possible is a goal I think we all share. So sharing that knowledge and those best practices is always great.
Anything interesting you've heard in the day and a half we've been here so far?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of information shared, a lot of thoughts around AI. How does that help us? How do we enable, faster decision making, faster insight generation? How do we tailor not only our messaging, our channel mix, the go-to-market approaches for different segments, whether that's prescriber, whether it's patient, payer examples. So that's definitely been a theme. I think also today a lot of it is around the importance of not just getting to market, but the access, right? A drug's only as good as one as patient that can take it. So how do we ensure that we're getting rapid approvals, but then importantly, ensuring patients actually get access to those drugs at the end of the day? So a lot of the panel, including the one today, is how do we do that? Is speed. Speed isn't always the measure of success, but it is critically important. I think when we're bringing therapies with very high unmet need and patients that really don't have time to wait.
And you're speaking later this afternoon on
Yeah,
on sort of that topic.
yeah,
I know DTP has been the other thing that I'm just hearing a lot about, direct to patient,
yeah.
programs and new initiatives. Is Boehringer doing anything around that space? Or are you looking into it?
Yeah, so I think when we think direct to patient, there's multiple different ways we can think about it. But at the end of the day, it's really ensuring those that need it get access to it in the best way possible, but also in a way and format in which they want that information. So whether it's the dispensing of the drug itself, whether it's the information around education, the support services and systems, but holistically thinking about patients are consumers like we all are. So it's about understanding their needs. How do they want the information? How do they want to be engaged with? And it's very much dependent on what they want and need and matching that. So I think what we're very focused on as an organization is understanding the patient's needs, their journey, but also the prescription journey. So we can bring those two things together in the best way possible.
Right. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me, Vicky.
Thank you.
Really interesting stuff, and good luck.
Thank you so much.